So Jen quit the show. I'm kind of disappointed because this is the thing, right? I get you quitting and not wanting to be a part of the show. Don't come back the next season. I kind of think that she wasn't going to be asked back, so she was just like, let me just save face. But it's like, you had a huge part in creating this season. And there are a lot of unanswered questions that we, the viewers and cast members, has from watching the season. So I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed that she would like check out like that. And I think it's kind of cowardly, and it makes me feel like she didn't want to be faced with the mess that she did on that season. So it's just like, let me just peace out. And also didn't want to deal with Shawnee telling her on national TV, thank you for your services, because she probably felt like that was coming. And also, are we at a season finale yet? I feel like the show has been on a very long time, and I always feel like every episode I watch has been the season finale, but it's not. Like, there's more coming. We still haven't gotten to Amsterdam yet, and I'm just like, how many episodes? And it's sad that I'm even feeling that way, because when I start to get to that point, it's because the show isn't giving me anything that they were giving me in the beginning. When you're asking for a season finale, it's not a good look. Let's get into this review. First of all, I can't even believe that security allowed Jen to bring pepper spray into this. I mean, there's no way that they could have known, right? But it's still, I don't know, I feel like they check them for things, because this is a show where they do fight. So they check them to make sure that they're like, that the drinks that they throw are not glass, and you know, like they're normally on it. So I don't know how she was able to get that far with security, with bringing out the pepper spray, and then everybody, the cast members, pulling Jen and Tammy away from each other and not security. It was just really weird to me. I get that Tammy and Jen have some issues, but it's like, why would you bring a weapon to a disagreement? Like, y'all not even at that place yet, and for you to bring pepper spray, I'm just like, you don't want this to end. You know, and like, I was feeling bad for Jen in her meetings with her therapist, or whatever that lady was, a relationship or personality cleanser, whatever that lady was. I was feeling bad for her, but I'm like, Jen, you keep on creating these storms that you're crying about are overtaking you. Bringing pepper spray to this event instead of bringing an apology or bringing a humble presence is your issue. You don't own up to the mess that you create, and then when you're confronted with it, you get nasty and you take it to the next level. Tammy got a big mouth, right? She wasn't at that point where you needed to pepper spray her. So I don't know, man. I'm trying to support Jen through this. No, I'm not. I'm done. Are you guys done? I'm done. I'm mad that she quit the show because I wanted to, you know, see them re her for filth at the reunion, but also see her come back and at least explain herself. But I'm kind of done, so I don't think she'll be missed the next season. And it's not a read, but it's just like, girl, you created a lot of drama for no reason whatsoever. They need a comic relief on this show. Jackie used to be it, but now she's calmed down a bit. They need some joy, because these ladies have been bringing the heat, been bringing the drama, and that's great. But these shows need balance, and there wasn't a lot of comic relief on the show. Now that Jackie has taken a more like motherly presence on this show, so that's what I think that they should do. When they replace Jen, bring somebody who is funny, somebody who is a person that will have a good time. We'll read you for filth, but ain't somebody who's always trying to get in the mess, and just a really good person to watch on TV to have a good time with. It's time, guys. Y'all need this. Why is Kristen crying? Like, she's having a full-on meltdown that Tammy and Jen are getting into it. It did seem like they cut out some footage, because from Jen mentioning like the pepper spray and her and Tammy being pulled apart, it just seemed like it got really, really heated. And then we cut to Reggie. She need this. You don't need this. And I was just like, wait, we missed a lot. What happened? So I feel like there was something else that happened, because everybody was flocking to Tammy. You know, Shawnee was like encouraging her. Like, everybody was encouraging her. OG. I feel like OG is, people don't mess with her because of how her body is. You know, she's very strong, right? So that intimidates people. But I feel like she talks very tough because she's a woman that plays football, and it's unnecessary. It's just like, okay, I would have knocked her out and dragged her and be watching the PSA. It's unnecessary. Like, you don't present yourself as a bully. You want to be seen as this person who will, don't come for me, I'll black your eyes, but it's just not believable. It really, really isn't. So it's like, you don't have to be so extra. You play football. We get it. But back to Krista and her overdramatic response to the fight. And then she like takes this high road, and it's just like, we're black women. We're represented in the media so hard. We shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, why did you sign on for this show? You knew what this show was. This show is not a women's empowerment show. This show is not on OWN for a reason. Okay, like, they get down and dirty. This show is on because they fight. This show was on air because Evelyn jumped on the table and threatened to attack Jen. This show was on the air because Evelyn threw a champagne bottle at somebody and missed their head. This show was on the air because Evelyn's friend smacked Jen because she lived with Jen and Jen was nasty to her. This show was on air because Shawnee told Brandy, thank you for your service. They are not the end-all be-all representatives for black women, and you knew that when you signed on. So don't get on the show and then try to take this high road and then kind of like look down on what they're doing. Like, this isn't what you signed on for. You weren't being a very good representative for black women when you were coming at OG for no reason whatsoever. So it's like, you can't check people for doing things that you do and not doing them the way that you want them to do. I just felt like it was over dramatic. It made absolutely no sense. And she was trying to like disengage or remove herself from the show, and I'm like, this is what they do. You knew this is what they do before you signed on to be on this show. They're in season 7 because of this. So how are you acting so shocked by it and falling down and crying like this is the first time you have witnessed this? I didn't get her reaction. I didn't understand it. I thought it was over dramatic, and to be quite honest with you, I felt like she was doing it for camera time. Also, Tammy's friend, Sean, I think that is her name, a dark-skinned woman with, beautiful dark-skinned woman with, great cheekbones. She was giving me Electra Abundance. I kept on looking at her the whole time. I was like, is that Electra Abundance? She was serving Electra. Did you guys see it? Let me know in the comment section below. So the PSA, great idea. I think it was really great. I love that Jackie did that. I love the fact that she, I'm trying to find something before I go. Oh, I do love the fact that she dedicated it to Malaysia's brother. I thought that was a really sweet moment. Something you can't script. That was real. That actually happened. The idea was great. The dedication was beautiful. But the iPhone of it all. Like, where was the budget? I'm like, hold on. Like, half of the shots were like shaky and like filmed in somebody's home, and then you get like these, like, to be honest with you, I felt like it was going from an iPhone 3 to an iPhone 10. It was just weird. Like, you would get like these shaky iPhone 3 scenes where people just like, stop killing us. And then you get like these iPhone 10 shots with a nice background and stop killing. It just, I was like, wow. Great idea. Poor execution. Sorry, Jackie. It's a beautiful, beautiful idea. Beautiful dedication. Whoo! But that execution, I was like, wait, is my TV shaking, or is it the kid? What is going? Let me stop. God bless you, Jackie. Good thing you did there, but they could have produced that for you. That's what I feel like. Like, y'all could have produced that and really like put some. If you're gonna make it a storyline, put some effort into it, please. You know what? I realize what it is that bothers me about Kristen besides her being a follower. And this, listen, you gotta have people to follow if you're a leader, so it's okay. I'm a leader. So I'm not downing people who follow, but it's like she follows blindly, and it's bothersome, right? Another thing that bothers me about her is she gets way too familiar with people, and she doesn't really know them. Like, she calls Jackie crazy every time in her confessionals when she's talking about her. Jackie's not her crazy self. When Jackie's not being her crazy self, crazy Jackie isn't here right now. And I'm like, you just met her. Like, you don't really know her enough to call her crazy. You're a fan of this show. You watched the show. You studied these women before you got on here. So you figured out your plan. Your problem was you didn't include in CeCe. So that's where you're having an issue. But we'll talk about that later. But she continues to make these comments about Jackie. And I'm like, you don't know her. So for you to keep on calling her crazy, that lets me know that you were watching the show before you got on. So you already made your conclusions about certain people. So that's why certain relationships can't grow, because you already came on here thinking this person, this is how they are, this is how they are. And so you get on the show and people are like, why are you making these decisions? Because you were fanning and taking notes. Because there is not enough history between Kristen and Jackie for Kristen to keep on calling her crazy. And she never says it to her face. She only says it in the confessionals because she knows that she doesn't have that history with her. Because if she did, she would have said it to her face. You know, here come crazy Jackie. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't do that to her face, but she does it in the confessionals. And it bothers me because I'm like, you're way too familiar. You just got here. You can't take that liberty with Jackie when y'all are still in the acquaintance mode. You're not really even friends. Have you even voiced that? I don't like it. What y'all feel about that? That bothers me. She keeps on calling her crazy, and I'm like, y'all don't have no history for you to even diagnose her like that. Like, I don't know. It bothered me. Staying on Kristen, maybe it's the edits. I always blame it on the edits just to, give these people on the show, just to get off them a bit. Because you don't want to blame them for everything, but it's just like, you filmed this. You signed on for the show contraction, but I just, let me get off your neck just a bit. But she keeps on talking about how difficult her child is. And not in a negative way, she looked terrible twos or whatever, like every parent talks about that time. But we're not seeing it. I don't feel like I'm seeing anything that's like, oh, you need a nanny. Oh, she's a lot of work. Oh, you shouldn't have a second child. Like, I don't get it. I'm not seeing anything. She threw clothes off the table. I see her saying these things about her child. But in the same scene where her child is doing these things, she's not telling her it's not okay to do it. Because when she had the photo shoot, when her daughter threw the stuff off the table, it was just like, y'all sat there and watched her. Why didn't you say, honey, pick those up? Or no, that's not what you do. Something like, let the kid know. She's fresh on this earth. She don't know what the hell she's doing. She needs you for guidance. That's why you called the mother. That's why you called she needs your guidance. If you're not saying anything and just watching her and telling everybody that she's difficult, it doesn't add up to me. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, do something, because there's just not enough footage showing how hard it is to raise this little girl. I'm not saying it's easy to be a parent or to raise a child, but Kristen's not a single parent. She has money. The husband is going out and taking care of the home. So it's just her and the child. Maybe Kristen is frustrated and wants to do more things and doesn't want to spend all her time raising her daughter. Maybe that's her truth, and she doesn't want to say that because she doesn't want to look like a bad mom, so she'll blame it on the terrible twos. And maybe the girl is, maybe her daughter is very difficult, but we're not seeing it. Every time she talks about how difficult she is, we just see her drinking juice and playing with toys, and I'm like, is this difficult? Sign me up. OG and Kwame, this is the thing, right? I think when you get with somebody who is younger than you, male or female, like anybody who is the older person in the relationship, you have to realize that younger person is still living life, and there are maybe phases of maturity that you have endured, and now you're where you're at, so you get certain things that they haven't lived through yet. And I feel like OG is forcing Kwame to get on her level of maturity, and it's just not realistic because he hasn't lived that much life yet. Like, he's still traveling and like in this basketball overseas kind of lifestyle, has a girlfriend back home that, apparently, can we talk about this scene? I was like, what are they about to do? Like, you can let us into your lives for these reality TV shows, but you don't have to let us into your FaceTime sex. Like, I don't need that. I didn't need an OG. Listen, sis, I've been defending you this whole season. I still feel like you have to help me help you, because you're sitting up there in this orange bra with this burgundy or ox blood 90, and then these jockey thong pants. It was, girl, but you know what? Kwame loves it. Okay, Kwame loves it. There's somebody for everybody, like my mom said. What I want to say about this situation is, girl, you got with somebody who's younger than you. You got to accept it for what it is. Like, you have to either go through those phases with him that you already went through and not be weary because you're just like, oh, I've done this before, and not try to tell him what to do when he goes through it. Or you got to get ghosts. You know what I mean? And I honestly feel like she needs somebody older. She needs somebody who's in a different profession. And you know what, OG? At the end of the day, sis, I'm not trying to force you to a white man. I'm just saying, they looking down your street. Listen, the proof is in the pudding. There are receipts, okay? But if you want to say within the Mandingo Warrior... within the Mandingo Warrior section, then you're going to have to go older. You gotta go older. You have to, not even older than you, just somebody your age. Like, this dude is very young, and even if you didn't tell us he was younger than you, we would already know he reads younger. And you gotta accept it for what it is. You either gotta accept him as somebody younger than you who has to go through those phases of life and chill and just be there for him, and maybe take a break from him and then come back. Or if you can't wait for him, you gotta bounce. because it's not fair to Kwame and it's not fair to you. You know what I mean? But that's the risk you take when you get with somebody who is a lot younger than you. Because I think he's like mid-20s and OG is like mid-30s, right? Yeah, isn't OG like mid-30s? Yeah. So it's, y'all got like 10 years. That's a big gap at that age. Like 30s and 40s are different. 20s and 30s, let me tell you something. Early 20s, a mess. A mess. Now, I know what I'm doing. I got it together, at least so far. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not making the same mistakes that I made at 20. You know what I mean? Like, or even 19. But you know what? First of all, 19 and 20 were so different. I was still living like a teenager. And then I hit 20 and I was like, oh, hell no. Grown. But I really wasn't. When I tell you on my journey, ciao. Anyway, I just feel like OG gotta make a hard decision. Her mom was trying to tell her that in the nicest way possible. It's like, girl, you gotta stick it out or cut it. Which one? And I feel like she's gonna have to cut it, because if she's forcing this man to like make these decisions, he's gonna back away. And he seems like he's really into her. Like, I do feel like there is love there. Like, he does really care for her, but he's young, girl. He's young. And listen, if just, you know, just have fun, okay? Just have fun with that young man. Just, you know, let him throw you all around and all that stuff. And then, you know, you settle down with a nice little 39-year-old, you know, and live out your dreams. But right now, Kwame ain't there, girl. And he's not going to be there for a while. And you going to have to wait if you want him. If you want him now, you going to have to wait. Woo, Jen, it's you. Cause her at this singles mixer, I'm like, we all saw that DJ Damage was not the way to go, but Jen wanted him. You know what I mean? First of all, not only is he a DJ, he's a black DJ from Philadelphia. Sis, you don't need that kind of headache. You don't need it. Trust me. I know. Philadelphia men are work. A lot of work. And to be honest with you, you got to be a Philly chick to deal with it. Because if you're not, you're going to be fighting everybody. So no, but even, I felt like he was even trying to tank the date with her. So that makes me believe that this DJ Damage setup was like producer prodding, because everything that he was saying was just like awful, right? And then I think his name is Josh, the right guy for her, was saying the right things, and she was still like, but Damage. And I'm just like, I don't know how real that is. But if it is real, Jen, you're the problem. You know, like, something up with your picker. Like Becca from what is it? I was like the Real Housewives of Bachelorette. The Bachelorette. Like, something's up with your picker. Like, you keep on picking these dudes where everybody's watching like, this dude is clearly the devil. How are you even considering this guy? So it's something up with her picker. I think she's, you know what, no shade to her ex, but she's not a looks kind of girl, so I won't say that. But I will say that she is security, but she also wants a guy that is, in a sense, kind of awful to her, because that's attractive. Like that bad boy aesthetic that when you're like a teenage girl, you think it's like hot, and then when you get older, you're just like, ooh, thank God I dodged that bullet. Jen is still in that phase where she still thinks those guys are cute. The guys who like talk to you rough and you're checking through his phone to make sure he's not flirting and everybody wants him because he's cute or got money, you know. She's still in that phase, and it's unfortunate. The guy that she ended up choosing, I think that he's a good pick for her. I actually even really like their date guys, and I would like to see more from those two. I don't know if it'll work because she is also a money chick. Nothing wrong with that. So am I, okay? If I'm going to be making some big bucks, you too. I can't be taking care of my family and you. Listen, it is what it is. Know what you want. So I'm not hating on her for that. But I don't want her to ruin it because he's not making money like her ex-husband. You know what I mean? Like, if he is making... Wait, what is he? He's an entertainment lawyer. So he got to be pulling in like 2K, 200K. So that's not bad. You know what I mean? But like, speaking of like entertainment, these people are making like $1 million a month. Like, you guys would be surprised how much your favorite actors are making, even the TV actors. Woo! One day it will be me. Thank you, Jesus. So she's looking for that kind of buck, for that kind of like change, and I don't think that this guy has it. But the 250K, I think, is a good thing, you know. And also, he's a criminal defense. He used to be a criminal defense lawyer. So, girl, if you don't really want him, get out, because he know how to make his problems disappear. Just saying. You know what, forgive me, I'm on season 3 of El Chapo, and I am just like, everybody's a criminal. The government is complicit. I don't for one second think that Jackie is attracted to basketballs. Like, she's freaky, right? Sometimes y'all go overboard to the point where we just don't believe it. This whole, scene with her talking about how sexy basketballs are. Not believing it. Not this time. Try something else. She went from wanting to be married and then having children to at least having a ring while she's pregnant. Woo child, the settlement. Before I wrap this up, I do want to talk about Malaysia and this CeCe and Kristen situation. I don't know, but I feel like Malaysia favors Kristen, and maybe she favors Kristen because she's married to her cousin, who she probably has a closer relationship with than her uncle, right? But what bothers me about, and I understand that, but what bothers me about it is that I just don't understand her checking CeCe all the time. It's like CeCe can say nothing about Kristen, but Kristen can describe CeCe and Malaysia will listen. But if CeCe says something about Kristen, it's Malaysia comes right in and checks it, and I'm like, you're being very partial to your cousin and not your uncle, if that's, or maybe, are they both her cousins? I don't know. She's being very partial to little Byron than she is to Big Byron. And I don't understand why. And I get that maybe she does have a really close relationship with her cousin because they're closer in age, but wrong is wrong. And you keep on talking about family. CeCe is a big part of this family. Like, if she ends up marrying this man, like, she's going to be a huge part of his life. She already is, in a way. So I don't know, I feel like they're both wrong. Kristen is more wrong to me, but I just don't understand Malaysia checking CeCe every time, like, oh, this is family, you can't say this stuff about family. But she's been dragging, but Kristen has been dragging CeCe, and you haven't said anything. And then she keeps on telling CeCe to get it right. Why does CeCe have to get it right with Kristen when Kristen is not actively working to get it right with her? Now, having said all of that, when we get to the scene where they're discussing their issues and how CeCe sent that horrible message to Kristen, and I get that there's a lot going on within that relationship that they're just not giving, that they just at the time were not telling us, and I kind of feel like Kristen, I won't say cross the line, but I'm just like, not everything is for TV. You know what I mean? Some stuff you just keep within the family, that Malaysia so aptly says. You got to keep it within the family, because that's not, we're okay with getting part of you. We don't need all of you to the point where it's like deep, dark things and will really affect the family. Because her exposing CeCe, I'm fine with it, because CeCe sent it and she needed to say that to explain why she's just not so ready to reconcile with her, right? I think she should have stopped there. Saying that Byron has not come to see his granddaughter and how they're not really a part of her life, and then saying that the stepmom wasn't like CeCe, that Byron Jr.'s mother wasn't like CeCe. She would allow them to see each other, and kind of alluding to CeCe being a factor in him not seeing his granddaughter. I just feel like that was real deep and real messy, and I don't know how that's not going to affect their relationship going forward outside of the cameras. I was just like, oh, Kristen, you should have left that right there. Because in a sense, your husband is going to side with you, but, that's his dad. So he might just be like, you shouldn't have said nothing. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just felt like she was putting herself in a situation where she's going to have to back down and not be able to really go there like she needs to defend herself, and just be like, you know what? Well, this happened to me, so I was on the show and I was talking about it, but it's just like, that was too family deep for us. Like, we didn't need that. The CeCe text, perfect, because it explains a lot. Now it's just like, okay, I get why she's standoffish from you, CeCe, because that was petty. The thing about it is, CeCe sent that text message because she's mad at Kristen because they're no longer close, and she did that to get a reaction out of her because she wants to talk to her. So CeCe is that type of person who will, like how they described young boys back in the day when they were young boys when they are, you know, and they got a crush on a girl, they punch him or something like that. It's just to get their attention. They have all these emotions and they don't know what to do. So like their first thing is like just fight. Their first reaction is, let me hit her so she can know that I'm there. That's what CeCe is doing. She's like hitting Kristen to let her know that she loves her and she still cares for her. And she is bothered by the fact that they're not close or not talking anymore. So let me start this drama so that you and us can start getting to a debate. Even I'll take debating you or fighting with you over not dealing with you at all. So she's the kind of person who she won't really tell you what's going on with her, but she'll do stuff and make all these kind of issues. And so you're just like, what is the problem? And then she breaks down crying and then y'all talk about it. She's a lot of work as a friend. So I get Kristen not wanting to be around her, and I wish Kristen would have left it there because I think she went too far by exposing too much, because I just don't think that bringing her father-in-law into this was a wise move for her moving forward within the family. You know, when you come in as a new person within the family, as a wife within the family, yes, you've known them for a very long time, honey, but when you the wife, you gotta walk differently. And I don't know, I just felt like that part of the issue we didn't need to know, because now it's going to be a problem. When you bring things to the world, you give way to everybody's opinions. And I just don't think that this one is going to help her. Just the text messages from CeCe, girl, you had us. And then you brought that in and I was just like, ooh, Big Byron going to have a problem with that. Especially since you brought up the ex-wife. Child. So that's where it ends. This was an okay episode. I'm excited to get to Amsterdam. I really want to get to Amsterdam because I think that's when the show is going to pick up again. So if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next week for the following episode of Basketball Wives. Love you guys. Bye.